wanted to make this video about a subject that I feel is an epidemic, to say the least. And it's a battle, and it's something that I've been struggling with for a very long time. And I talked about this subject before amongst friends, when I went to ministry school. I've even spoken about it at events and things like that, because I just feel like it's a silent killer. And people don't realize that how many people are actually struggling with this thing. And the thing that I'm talking about starts with a P and rhymes with corn. It's porn, all right? And it's amongst the struggles with men, women, children, across any demographic, sex, gender, sexuality, it doesn't matter. Everybody is struggling with this. And I feel like more people should be talking about it. So here I am talking about it. But I want to keep this as real and raw and authentic as I can. What better way to be more authentic than to show people what it's like in the battle? Not when you've overcome it. Not when you've claimed your victory and it's like it's been years since you've done it and you're in recovery and you got a family and you're like, and it's bliss. I'm in it. I'm at ground zero. And one of the main reasons why I haven't been on Instagram for like 3 or 4 months is because of this. And by the way, that was a really cool litmus test to see when you get off social media, who notices and who cares enough to actually reach out. And with my measly 1,300 followers, I think 4 people reached out. And coincidentally, these 4 people are my day ones anyways. One of them reached out to me just, I think, a couple of days after they didn't see me on there. It was just like 2 or 3 days. And they were like, hey, is everything okay? I haven't seen you posting on your story and things like that. And that really made me feel seen. But it was cool to see who actually notices when you've left the scene. And but I left the scene with Instagram. I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to be on there when I'm not in a good place. And we all know how much of a beast Instagram can be, especially when you're in a very vulnerable place in your life. You start to compare your life to other people, even if you know that it's just a highlight reel of their life. It still gets to you because you're like, everybody out there is having fun. Life is just passing me by and I'm here, stuck in this. And sometimes that would get to me. Plus, I didn't want to be on there posting, smiling and stuff. And I'm not okay, because that's fake. Like, who wants to be, that's fake as press on toenails. Who wants to be that fake to where you are just on there acting like you were living life when really it's a train wreck going on inside. So I decided to take that time off to go in, to really do some soul searching and get on a regimen to really overcome this thing. But even though I'm not all the way through it, I wanted people to see what it's really like as an addict and in recovery and things like that, because I don't think people understand the gravity of this addiction. It may not be cocaine and heroin that you're shooting up, but it's destructive. And I wanted to warn people of those dangers. So here we are. A little background. Porn was not something that I knew existed. You know, I came from Alabama. We barely even had a home phone. We played outside, the kids. We barely watched TV. Nobody had cell phones. So the internet wasn't really something that we knew about, even though it came out in the 90s. We still didn't really, I don't know, kids back then didn't really care. These kids now, it's an Xbox in every room and you got laptops and iPads. We didn't have that. And it was a very freeing and liberating experience. As we progressed and I moved over to Atlanta, which is where I'm at now, we got a computer. And this computer could do anything that you want it to do. You can type in whatever word you were interested in, whatever subject you wanted to learn about, and you had all this information available to you. But there are dangers to it. Dangers that I was unaware of as a 12 and 13-year-old surfing the web. And so at that time, I wanted to become a model. But I was also interested in the entertainment industry as a whole. So what do you do when the internet is right there? You type in the subject. So I typed in something that was alongside modeling, and it pulled up some very explicit images that I had never seen before. But this was like just in your face, like right there. And it shocked me. Like the moment I saw the picture of boys doing ungodly acts, and like very explicit stuff, it shocked me. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. And I immediately exit out the screen. And my mom was right there with me. And so she couldn't believe it either because she hadn't seen anything like that. And so later that night, everybody was asleep. And I got a little curious. And I wanted to see more of what this thing had to offer. And so I went back downstairs, and that's when it began. And who would have known 16 years later that I'd still be in this? 16 years, that's over half my life that I've been struggling with this one thing, trying to let go of it, relapsing, getting back up on a horse, falling back down again. It's been that long, And I'm not really shameful to talk about it, but I just think that my heart is for the people that are just unaware of what this thing can do to a person. And where I'm at now, I'm not in a good place mentally, physically, things that are happening in my brain and in my life, my friendships. I'm not in the place that I want to be, but I'm willing to show y'all the raw form of an addict and the recovery and the journey from that. I don't think I've seen anything like that before on the internet where I saw someone that was actually at ground zero. And that's why I'm making this video. And the symptoms and the sensations that I feel now are just the most uncomfortable things. I mean, anxiety at an all-time high just from going out. Depersonalization, which is it's a feeling or a sensation that you feel out of your body. You feel kind of like detached from yourself. And then derealization is where you feel detached from reality. So you feel like you're in a dream. And that stems from anxiety, and that stems from fear, and it stems from stress itself. And this is a very stressful thing to have to go through because my brain is just going all types of ways. I'm having racing thoughts at times. Sometimes I'm having no thoughts. My emotions can be all over the place. I be crying. I just cried, I think yesterday, just out of frustration. And then there's times where I don't feel any type of emotion. It's just blank, And that hurts, especially coming from a person that has always had this lively personality. Just, he loves to laugh, loves to make other people laugh. But it hasn't been like that. I had felt it in my heart for people to get an inside view of what it's like, and to also talk about the statistics, and hopefully get people that on this, I almost called it a show, but hey, a show, a podcast, whatever you want to call it, a channel, my YouTube, that can talk about their journeys too. And also my family. My family has been the main supporter of me getting through this because they've seen me in this place before, and it breaks their heart. And it breaks my heart that it breaks their heart to see that their son, that their brother is not okay, just to say the least. So that's the background, and that's an introduction as to what is going to be happening on this channel. I'm hoping to make these videos once, maybe even twice a week, to give you guys some statistics, do some more research, talk about what it does to the brain, the body, relationships, marriages, and things like that. But I want y'all to just, take it from me. Take it from somebody that's actually been in it. And this is my truth. This is just my reality. This is where I'm at. It's up to y'all to take heed to this and this warning of the dangers that's possibly out there. Warn your kids. Porn is a word that sometimes I don't even want to say around kids or even certain people because I don't want them to get curious and go looking for it. Like that's how much, but I know I have to say the word, but that's how much I care about even seeing that. Like it started out with a picture for me at 12 years old, and just for years on end, it progressed into videos and then more vulgar content. So I don't even want people to get curious and go looking for it because it may trigger something in them. And I wrote a book about it. I'm not sure if most of y'all know that. I wrote it back in 2014. I was only like 20 or 21 years old. But the reason why I stopped promoting it 2 years later was because I felt like a hypocrite. I was like, I'm still in this thing, this battle that I haven't overcome yet. And I'm telling other people how they can somehow win over it. And I haven't found victory. And it's called A Victorious Heart. Like, that's the name of the book. So I felt like a hypocrite. Again, goes back to wanting to be past a thing so that way you can look back and tell people how you overcame it and how you got through it. I feel like I was going to do that again this time, but I don't know when that journey, I don't know what that's going to look like right now. So I might as well do it now. And I want that to inspire other people. You don't have to get to a certain place in your life where you feel like, oh, now they'll listen to me, or now I have some leverage to stand up on. So listen to me very, very closely and be aware. Be aware. Pornography is real. It's a real addiction. Porn does the same thing to the brain that cocaine does. It ignites that same part of the brain, that reward center, and it hijacks it. It's a slow death. You don't realize it until you're at the end and you're trying to break away from it, that the damage has already been done. And now you're trying to pick up the pieces. So that's where I'm at. I'm picking up the pieces now, but I'm allowing y'all to have an inside look at me picking up the pieces, putting that puzzle back together. That was an intro, some background. Hopefully y'all will continue to follow this. And if y'all don't or not, I'm still gonna put it out there, because this is to hold me accountable too. And this is my service to you. This is for the world to see the life of porn addict, you know, and the recovery. I don't like to call myself an addict, but you got to call a spade a spade. I don't believe that you have to be an addict for the rest of your life. You can overcome it. So hopefully this will encourage you and you will gain some type of inspiration from me being willing to be vulnerable and raw and open.